All right, good day, guys, and welcome to the channel. So I'm Mark from Our Little Adventure, and I'm sitting here today with Brett from Sveto's Trippin'.
Hey guys.
We are both content creators that have been doing this for a fair while now, but we'll jump into some stats shortly. But we're camped up together, and Brett threw this idea at me that we could sit down, have a chat about YouTubers and YouTube itself. I thought that was a great idea, so here we are. We're going to sit down and have a chat today. Hopefully you've come across one of our channels in the past, and if you haven't, hopefully we'll touch on the reason why you haven't seen us before and why this video has suddenly popped up in your feed. So we'll see how that works today. I'll pass over to Brett. Brett, why don't you give us a few stats about yourself and how long you've been doing this, your subscriber count and all that sort of stuff?
Well, we left to travel Australia full-time back in 2021, just after COVID kind of hit and was kind of in full swing, really, because we were dealing with border crossings and issues with that. I had been creating YouTube videos prior to that. I've always enjoyed telling a story and creating videos. What I used to do was boat camping adventures, and my goal back then was to kind of create videos for dads and their kids to watch to motivate them to get out and go on camping adventures.
Yeah.
And then we made the decision to travel Australia full time, and my content changed to what it is now, which is traveling and touring around Australia.
Yeah.
I didn't come out and right away start making videos weekly and really focusing on growing my YouTube channel. That didn't happen until about August 2022, when we were up in the Whitsundays, when I made the decision to try and commit to making a video every week, which is a really hard thing to do.
It can be, yeah. I've found the same. But
and we're now at, what are we at, 13,500 subscribers?
I think you are, yeah, last time I checked.
So yeah, so that's our YouTube channel and what we're about these days. And yourself? Give us some stats about you.
We were pretty much the same. We actually left late 2020, but we didn't start our YouTube channel until January of 2021 as we were leaving WA. So we had been on the road for a few months by that point.
Funny story, I just watched your Nullarbor crossing video the other day before we crossed the Nullarbor as a G-up.
The first one that we did.
I think it was your first one.
Yeah, wow, episode 3 I think that was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were probably the same. I don't think we started doing weekly videos and really making YouTube a focus until midway through 2022 as well. We had always just committed to doing it as a bit of a hobby. So we're just throwing the videos out when they were ready. But yeah, about April or May of 2022, I started really knuckling down and trying to get weekly videos out. And that's when we did like the Gibb River Road and up the WA coast, outback WA, and on our way to Tassie as well. So it really did start to snowball after that, which is good. I'm not as big a channel as Brett. I think we've just hit the 7,000 subscriber mark. But yeah, it's just been a very slow climb. I haven't had anything that's really
consistent grind.
It has just been the consistent grind for myself. Yeah,
I think my numbers have swelled as a result of a few viral videos that I've had. When I started doing more videos in the more informational context, and
what do we call them? They're talking head videos.
I call them talking heads. If you follow my channel, you'll have heard that term before. But yeah, so I find those ones are more evergreen. They're consistently getting views, whereas a vlog, more so than a talking head, will get some views and then it will just taper off and come to virtually a complete stop.
Yeah, unless someone wants to go to that location, you might get a
little bit of a spike. You get maybe 5 or 10 views every 48 hours, as opposed to some of the talking head videos.
For my Cape York videos and Gibb River Road videos, that you get a little bit of a spike as the build up.
Yeah, when the season comes in. Yeah, my movie on the Gibb is actually, that's a vlog, but it's a movie. It's a 2-hour long video one. But that's the you should watch it.
I've watched all the other ones
if you've got a spare 2 hours. But that's the only kind of vlog that I have that is actually a consistently growing video that's consistently getting views. Yeah, awesome. And you're right, I did see the spike coming into the Gibb River Road season.
Yeah. So since this was your idea, how about you touch on what we're sort of going to hopefully cover today?
Yeah, so Mark and I have been preparing for this, and we have a bit of an agenda. So we'll read through that just so that you know what's going to be coming up in the video. First thing that we're going to touch on is going to be thumbnails, the importance of thumbnails, and then some of the trends that we're observing in our niche in particular lately, like clickbait thumbnails, the negative thumbnails, and maybe even the bikini thumbnails.
I don't look great in a bikini.
Unfortunately, because that's a good ticket, that one. Then we might go into sponsorships and affiliate marketing and our thoughts on that. We're also going to talk on another one that's been coming up a lot recently in my comments and feedback, which is that YouTubers are to blame for places getting busy, basically, and secret spots not being secret anymore. We'll then go into a little bit of filming etiquette about how we do what we do and our thoughts on how to do that without bothering other people. And then we might touch on a bit of copying other people's content. And then lastly, we might let you guys know who we watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's the agenda for the day.
So yeah, we'll get stuck into this. We'll set up a couple of extra cameras, so make this really feel professional for you today. And
I guess kick straight off with going into thumbnails.
You know what? I reckon this is my least favorite part of content creation or
and
YouTube creation.
I reckon, because I know you so well, I can tell you why. It's because you're not willing to do what it is that you have to do with the thumbnails. Or you're frustrated by what you have to do with the thumbnails.
It's my stubbornness that I don't want to have to do that to grow as a creator, but it seems to be what needs to happen.
So for a little bit of context for you guys that aren't as knowledgeable about how YouTube works, it's titles and thumbnails that is the single most important aspect as to how a video is going to perform.
Yeah, because you need to grab people's attention. Where they're scrolling through that YouTube feed looking for something to watch, that title and that thumbnail needs to catch their attention.
I mean, as Mr. Beast will say, if they don't click, they don't watch. If you don't create a thumbnail that people want to click on, then people don't click. And that is where the term clickbait thumbnail comes from.
Yeah, but in saying that, I got asked this question recently. What do you actually call clickbait? What's your definition of clickbait?
Okay, so in my mind, a clickbait video or a clickbait thumbnail is when the thumbnail and the title actually doesn't represent what's happening in the video.
Very misleading.
So as an example, the title might say, YouTubers have lied to you. And then you watch the video and they don't even touch on what YouTubers have lied to you about.
Or if they did, it was very subtle and you don't get the point of it at the end of the video.
Yeah, which could be like, I mean, I can understand that where you think you've got that message across, but perhaps you didn't. I've had some instances of that as well.
Yeah, I have too. Yep. So so I think clickbait is when it's misleading. But there's another one that's very big in our niche at the moment. And I'm sure you've seen it. Scroll through your YouTube if you haven't. And I'm sure after we say this, you'll notice it. But it's negative thumbnails.
It is that we have to focus on a negative aspect of the place that we've visited or the thing that we've done in our title and the thumbnail in order to have people be wanting to click on our videos.
Yeah, I've touched on it in one of my recent videos where I made a bit of a joke.
I remember. What is it? Not clickbait. Yeah, and it actually did well.
It did all right. Yeah, for a normal vlog for me, it did all right. This is not clickbait. Drama free is what the title said, because we had a great time. Nothing went wrong, but it seems to be the common theme at the moment that even if you've had a great time, you need to focus on one negative thing there to create that clickable thumbnail that people want to see. And now, it's frustrating.
In preparation for this video, Mark and I have done a little bit of testing. So YouTube has just implemented ABC testing, or they call it A/B testing, where you can put up different thumbnails on the one video and YouTube's going to serve up different ones, and it's going to measure how long people watched your video based on which thumbnail went up.
Yeah, which one got the more clicks and the more interactions.
So we've been hanging out for a couple of weeks now and we made the decision to test that. And we did that. Do you want to run with your numbers first? And I'll throw up on the screen the different thumbnails.
Can I access that from here? Let's have a look. So I did one recently on the Painted Desert. We had a great time out there. But it was probably the most corrugated road I've ever taken the caravan on. It was absolutely horrendous. It took us like 2 hours to travel 25 kilometers. It was bad. So for one of my thumbnails, I focused in on that a little bit. I didn't hint that it was corrugations, but I just
think you could. Mistake. And this comes back to your stubbornness, because I said to you, man, you could have gone way harder. You could have put worst corrugations ever and done one of these. And honestly, I think the numbers would have been skewed even further.
Probably. And then my other thumbnail, and we can overlay them in here.
Yeah, they'll be. You will see them.
Was like Liam, a beautiful shot of Liam overlooking the Painted Desert. It's like, you have to come here, because it was just unreal. I highly recommend making that detour if you're going to go up that way, because that is one spot in Australia that just sort of blew me away and exceeded those expectations. So I wanted to try and capture that as a positive. It ran for 48 hours, I think we worked out, before it found its results. So went, okay, here, this is the more popular thumbnail. And without hesitation, it was that negative thumbnail, like huge mistake.
Do you know the percentage? I mean, it'll be up here as well. We'll put the results up.
42 to 58, I think.
Quite similar to mine.
Yeah. I can't see that from the app, but on the computer you can see the exact results. And
yeah, we'll have it up here. You'll see it.
Within 48 hours, it knew exactly that the huge mistake negative thumbnail was doing more. So it then made that the thumbnail. My other one's gone now. So.
And so for me, we were crossing the Nullarbor. I used that video as my example of the negative versus positive thumbnail.
Yeah.
I created 2 thumbnails. I thought crossing the Nullarbor was an amazing experience. Excuse that, that's one of our cameras dying. But I thought crossing the Nullarbor was an amazing experience, especially for all the free camping. So the story that I wanted to tell on our crossing of the Nullarbor was how good the free camping is. So I ran 2 thumbnails. One was free camping at its best, and it's a beautiful photo of my family sitting by a fire with nothing around, just enjoying ourselves. Yep. I much preferred that thumbnail. And again, like you, I don't like to do the negative thumbnails, and I put a lot less effort into my negative thumbnail. But as we were crossing the Nullarbor, we discovered that you can no longer camp on Bunda Cliffs.
Which is a shame, because I've camped there twice, and
it is what I was most looking forward to doing across the Nullarbor as well. We ended up having incredibly windy conditions, and my time on the Bunda Cliffs wouldn't have been nice anyway, but we weren't able to camp there. So for my negative thumbnail, I didn't even put a new picture of myself. I got lazy and just used another photo that I'd used in previous thumbnails. So I used a stock thumbnail, put less effort into that. Same result. It was something like 60% for that negative Bunda Cliffs thumbnail, 40% for the positive how good is free camping across the Nullarbor thumbnail.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame, hey?
Now, I've seen a lot of feedback on people saying that they don't like seeing those sorts of thumbnails and that they don't click on those sorts of thumbnails, but the evidence is clear. I mean, 100%. We've only known theoretically that that's true, but now we know with like actual evidence, it's clear. If you focus in on a negative aspect...
We're doing it again next week.
Yes, if you see, I've never done one of these before, but if you see on the video that you will have just seen of our time on Palooza Beach, I've done one of these. Yeah. And I just want to run the test to see how it performs.
Yeah, so jump in those and see which thumbnail is live by the time this video comes out.
Because it'll be the one that won.
The negative one, yep.
So that's negative thumbnails. People will say that they don't like the negative thumbnails, but
they click on
it works, and that's why we do it.
And I know, and I won't mention names, but I've spoken to some other content creators that hate it just as much, but they've gone down that path because they want to create and make a living off of YouTube. That seems to be the way to do it.
So is there a way to fix it? Let us know in the comments. How can we fix that? The only thing that I can think of is education.
Yeah. But you're dealing with large numbers of audience, like our audience.
Who won't have seen this beforehand. What's going to happen, I think, is my regular viewers are now going to know that I'm running these A/B tests. They're not going to click the negative thumbnail.
To help
that may skew the results a bit, but
maybe
I still feel that new audience will come in from that negative thumbnail.
Yes, I think so too.
So that's virtually what Mark and I have decided from these results is now we're going to go to the effort to create a positive and a negative thumbnail. And if you want the positive thumbnail to be the one that's up there.
Well, yeah, my theory with doing it now is if I'm putting the effort in to put a positive and a negative, if you're seeing the negative, it's probably hinting at your clickable history that if you click on negative thumbnails, that's the one that it's showing you, where if you click on positive thumbnails, you're going to see the positive one. That's the hope anyway.
I'm not sure if the algorithm, because there's no text in the thumbnail, I'm not sure the algorithm would know your history based on that. More like the title rather than the thumbnail.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You don't reckon it's smart enough to pick up on the images itself?
I don't know.
Yeah. Let us know what
we don't know YouTube that well.
No.
So we can't be positive. But I would argue that
because we can only do the thumbnail A and B testing.
That's right. We can't. It would be amazing if you could do a thumbnail and a title different.
Yeah,
because then you could tie them together. But unfortunately, we have to run the one title across the two.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go.
That's our view on the negative thumbnails. All right. Apologies, guys. We just lost power on our main camera, so we had to restart again. So I can't remember exactly where we were at, but
I think we were probably just starting to touch on the other
pet peeve. Would you say?
Oh, no. Well, look,
I don't mind it.
It doesn't really matter, but yeah, it's another trend that we're seeing in the thumbnails.
That's right,
niche.
And that is the bikini girl thumbnails
and
the sex sell stuff that we're seeing. I think that's something that it's been in other niches a lot more, and we're starting to see that move over into our niche recently.
Yeah,
So
I think so. Like you've seen it in the fishing and the four-wheel driving niche.
yeah, like I just sent Mark a thumbnail last night of a channel. It's a small fishing channel, and they have about 4,000 subscribers. And the video came up on my feed. It had 20,000 views. Guess what was on? Guess what was on the thumbnail? An attractive girl with her bottom hanging out in a bikini.
Yeah.
So I had a look at the channel, and all of the other thumbnails are just beautiful blue water fishing photos. They get 5,000 views. And then he had one other bikini girl thumbnail on it, and that one was at 80,000 views, and I won't be surprised if this one approaches that level there.
Yeah.
So it's something that's been the case in the fishing niche for a while. Also in the four-wheel driving niche, I see a lot of the four-wheel driving channels using bikini girls in their thumbnails, and that really works. And I mean, let's be honest, bikini girls selling cars is not a new concept. That's been around for a really long time. But we are now seeing it coming into our
family travel
traveling niche. That's right.
People are using that to get their clicks, I guess. And look, it works. I don't have a opposition to how other people run their channels and whatever, but it's a trend that we're starting to see that I feel like it's starting to.
I guess where it kind of grinds my gears a little bit, and don't get me wrong, I'm not super offended or anything, but it's just like it's easy mode.
Yeah.
If you look good in a bikini and you put that on a thumbnail.
I don't look good in a bikini.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mark and I, we really don't look very attractive in a bikini, so we don't have that easy mode. So I guess I'm not so much grinding my gears, but I'm jealous that all we need to do for a successful video.
But would you if you could?
If I looked good in a bikini,
would I? Or if you had the
I knew that was
and you could.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, if you got to use it, right?
So there's not much we can say about that other than that's something that we're observing at the moment, and that's how we feel about it, I guess.
Yeah, and you could almost flip it as well, and still probably under the category of sex sells is those attractive setups. You know, like there's
that is the other thing that is a quick key to success, isn't it? If you have a $300,000-$400,000 setup and it looks really good,
and it makes people envious. That's click-worthy. You know, don't get me wrong. I've clicked on a few of them. I'm still in love with my 100 series and my old band. But
we made the decision not to name channels in this video. But there's one channel with a big Chevy that looks really good, and they did a tour of their canopy, and I was like, I need to see what's inside this thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then I was watching, and I was going, God damn it! You don't need 3 air compressors.
It's but again, it works, and it's big in that in our niche now in the thumbnails. If you've got it, flaunt it, right?
So there's no reason why you shouldn't. If you do have it, you do flaunt it. It's a bit of a little shortcut to success, I suppose.
It can be. There's some people it doesn't work for. Like if their channel is not worthy of sticking around for, it's not going to translate to new subscribers. But it's getting that initial click and getting your name out there. It is a great way. And
coming back to the negative thumbnails, it's just that. If you get people to click and you have good content, then you might get yourself a fan for life.
But I've even noticed it just in my channel alone. If I include the car and caravan in the thumbnail, a lot of the time it does a lot better than if I just have like a nice scenic shot of where we are camped or an activity that we've done or something. Having that car and caravan captures that click-worthiness, I suppose. It's a trend we're noticing. We're not against it. Do it, got it, use it, flaunt it.
You got it, use it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think, have we covered everything we wanted to talk about on thumbnails? I hope we've got the message across that thumbnails are really important. And if you see us do things on our thumbnails, it's because, look, it is our goal to grow our YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And that's why we might be doing what we're doing, because
a few more negative ones or whatever.
It works.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame, but it works.
And you have to do what works.
Yeah, if you want to grow, Like I reckon with the amount of people out there that watch YouTube on a daily basis, we've got hundreds of thousands of people out there that would probably love our content. How do we reach them?
Exactly. And I'm not sure if I said this already, but I've had the comments that come through that says, "Oh, we've just found you guys. Really love your channels."
And we've been at it for 4 years.
And that's our goal. Our goal is to have people find our content. So
watch this space. You'll start seeing more positive and negative thumbnails from the both of us, because we're going to keep running this testing.
And maybe we'll come back and reconvene with another conversation with a lot more data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's next?
It was sponsorships, ambassadors, and
affiliate marketing.
And affiliate marketing. I think I'm going to defer to you on a lot of those things, but I did want to say something about this subject, which is I see a lot of comments and feedback that people write in the comments, once they see a channel start selling things, they switch off and they turn off. Now, I don't agree with that. And the reason for that is, I mean, perhaps I'm biased because I'm trying to succeed in my YouTube channel as well. But we're creating content that I hope provides information and inspiration and helps people out there. And it's not free to do what we're doing, and money makes the world go round. So if a brand jumps on board and helps support a channel, I think we should be saying, you know, yes, good for you guys.
And I've done that creator, but to the brand as well. You know?
Yes, thank you to the brand for helping support that content and keeping that content going. Like, you should be grateful to the brands and the companies for helping those creators create content. At least that's my opinion on it anyway.
I'm exactly the same, but there probably is a bit of a blurred line there because there's certain channels and not just YouTube.
I know where you're going with this, and I completely agree.
Instagram and Facebook as well, where once they jump on that, I think it's called user-generated content, they just start accepting absolutely everything. And I feel like there's no trust there. Well, and I don't know about yourself. You've done a couple now, but whenever I get approached by a company, one, I want to already be using some of their products a lot of the time. Or if I haven't,
or be wishing you had it.
Yeah, wishing I had it. Or before I even bring it to my audience, I want to test it. I want to give you real life figures because if I don't see value in it, then I'm not going to introduce it to my audience.
I think we are both exactly the same on that. I have knocked back about 20 opportunities. Because I just can't see, I can't see a use for that product. It doesn't make sense in my life, and I'm not going to sell something that doesn't make sense in our life and what we're doing. And I think for the audience out there, they need to select the people they're going to listen to based on what they can tell with that. And if somebody's flogging something every week, you can tell they're just taking every offer that comes their way.
I get that completely. I would rather have my audience trust me. And if I say a product's good and I'm using that product and you get it and it's crap, like that's ruined that trust from me now. So I will only promote products that
I would also like the audience to be happy for us to have that opportunity to kind of support ourselves and keep food on the table. So, you know, it's obviously a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And there is a tricky one because sometimes there's a product that I think would be fantastic for someone that was living in a car, like traveling in just a droopy or something like that, or a camper trailer, not necessarily valuable to me. It's like, do I still share this product because not all my audience is in a caravan? But then I will be struggling to create a way that I can show you how I use it because I don't need it. So a lot of the time I will turn down what I think is a fantastic product. It's just not useful for me. How do I show you how great it is if I'm not?
And maybe perhaps moving forward, you should stop turning those down if it is a good product. You just have to find a way to share it because you've worked hard to build this audience, and that's why the brand is reaching out to you.
So yeah, it can be a little bit of a tricky one, but yeah, I think we should be supportive of those that get to work with certain brands and stuff, because a lot of work goes into the back end to create that relationship with brands that they want you to represent them and you'll rep the other way around as well. I can't remember which way I said it. So I think it is good. But yeah, there's definitely people out there that just abuse it a little bit and just jump on and just they're flogging products for the sake of flogging products,
and we can't condone that. We don't do that ourselves.
Well, I don't trust what they have to say.
Exactly.
But in affiliate marketing, because you've not done as much as I have, I've had a few little success stories with it where it's made us a bit of coin that has kept us on the road a little bit longer. There's a bit of a difference. Sometimes it can just be a product. So all I need to do in exchange for that product is a review and a bit of promotion for it. But then there's the ongoing affiliate marketing where you, say, get a discount code. That's a great one. And I actually quite like this type of affiliate marketing is when a company or a brand is willing to give your audience a discount code. So they're taking away a little bit of their profit to give you a discount code. But then they're also giving you a little bit more because if people use mine, I get a bit of commission off of it. So they're missing out. But then you sort of look at it in the long term, it's part of their marketing budget is now reaching your audience. So it's probably a bit of a trade-off there, but it's a bit of a win-win-win, you know. I win because I make a bit of commission and I get to work with this brand. The audience wins because they get a discount on the product. And the company wins because they're reaching an audience that they couldn't reach before. So I really like that style of affiliate marketing. But people still seem to dislike it. and I'm not
Yes.
really sure why.
I'd love to know in the comments why you think that,
Yeah.
if you agree with it or if you don't agree with it, that is the way that I would like to work with brands as well.
Yeah, it is a great way, and that ongoing relationship is really great because it can just sort of be a drip feed of money as well.
And how
for
about
you.
the other method that you've used as well? Because I think people might be interested in the requirements that are set upon you. So
Yeah,
you might see somebody receive a product and you say, oh man, they got that for free. But what they ask for in return for that is a lot of work.
Yeah, and it comes down to the brand and your negotiating skills, I think. I've spoken to some other creators that won't just go with what they ask. They want money as well. It's like, I'll do what you want, but you're going to pay me for it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've never considered myself a big enough channel to start demanding payment. But sometimes we'll get an offer, and a lot of these ones I turn down is, we'll send you this in exchange for 2 reels, a Facebook post, a dedicated YouTube video, and for it to be seen in other YouTube videos.
So
Nah,
that is asking for, I don't know, a week's worth of work for what could potentially be not a week's worth of product.
Yeah, but at the same time, because for me personally, because they're putting those caveats on, it really turns me off wanting to work with them, because if it's a great product and I'm going to use it, it's going to be in my social media and my YouTube all the time.
And wouldn't it be a lot better if it was much more organic? That, look, I'm using my drill that was sent out to me by brand X.
Yeah.
And I love this drill.
Yeah.
Instead of being forced to do it, oh, this thing has 12.4 amp hours of battery power and yada yada.
Yeah. And like one of them, I'll touch on it, and I'll mention the brand because they have been good for me. iTech World. I reached out to them in the instance because I wanted a new solar blanket, and I said, hey, look, I've got your batteries. I love them. They've been really great, but I need a new way to top them up a little bit better. And I reached out to them, and he said, yep, no worries, we'll send it to you. And I already pitched the idea that I wanted to do a review video. I wanted to show how much it was coming in and stuff like that. He said, but on top of that, I would really love 2 reels that we could potentially use as ads. I said, okay, no worries, fair deal. I was hoping for a discount. They ended up giving it to me. But you've seen it firsthand now. Like, it's done exactly what I wanted.
It's a great blanket. Yeah, I'm quite jealous of your solar input at times.
Yeah, and it's now, like, I've met my quota. I've done everything I need to. But it shows up on my Instagram and Facebook all the time because it is a product that I really rate. It's doing exactly what it was supposed to do. So I do like those sort of affiliate marketings where you do get to work with the brand, but it might not necessarily be long term. Like, I've got no affiliation with them going forward now. That's it. It's done. But yeah, I like that. And I think we should be supportive of people that do get that opportunity to work with.
I agree, which was one of the key messages I wanted to put out in this video. So the last thing on this subject that we said that we would talk about was ambassadorships. Yeah. Not something I have a lot of experience, and your experience is kind of an interesting, if you want to tell that story, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I can touch on it. So New Age reached out to us back in 2022, really when we had sort of stepped up our YouTube and social media. And asked us to be brand ambassadors. We were really excited. They decked us out with the chairs that we're sitting in today, some stools, storage bags, because they sort of partnered up with Navigator gear. So it's all Navigator, but with the New Age branding. So it was awesome. And we would share pictures and videos with them and they would promote it. But it's sort of, I think they've had a bit of a change in employees, staff, I guess. And I don't know, my contact's gone. So I think I'm still a brand ambassador.
You are maybe not an ambassador, but as far as when it comes to people changing caravans every year and that kind of thing.
I don't know, it's speculation, but they must get some pretty heavy discounts on
I reckon they probably have different deals going on. I think with the amount of people in the zone and the wording that was used on the people in the zone, here's our caravan for 2024. I assume that zone and put you on a contract for a year to have that caravan, where I think maybe other manufacturers say, here's your van, we want you to be in a new one every year, you can pay base model price or discount price, and then you can sell it at the end.
Which would be amazing. Any of your brands out there watching this?
Put my hand up. The vehicle can now handle a bit more weight and we really need a bit more space.
So I'm not sure. It must come down to the negotiating and being able to showcase what sort of reach you can have and what you can do to that business. But
and a van in itself it's very organic in the way that you can show it. Our van is in every single video. And we have a large following.
Except for this one.
And we have a large following that like us because of the branded caravan that we're in. And I'm sure that I've convinced many a person to purchase that one. But I have no affiliation with the manufacturer of our caravan.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I promote our new age one, but I'm under no obligation to promote it. It's just done exactly what we wanted it to do.
Yeah, the only reason we show it and share it is because we live in it and we each like our vans. They're both good vans. I think pretty much any van's going to be a good van.
So again, it's probably just speculation. How those sort of relationships work with those creators that do have those brand affiliation or their ambassadorship. It'd be amazing, but yeah, it's speculation. I would love for one of them to sit down with Brett or myself and talk about that a little bit more and be out in the open about it, but we'll wait to see what the future holds on that one.
That's right. Okay, a new subject. I think from memory, the next one was YouTubers are to blame.
No, this is probably one for you. Let me go and move this camera.
Okay.
Let's get back into
Are we ready? So YouTubers are to blame. So this has come about, the reason why I want to talk about this subject is it's kind of been going a little bit viral recently, how busy Travelling Australia is and how things seem to be changing, and they seem to be changing drastically recently.
It has grown a lot in the time that we've been on the road.
Places are being closed down. So as I mentioned, Bunda Cliffs has just closed. Whether or not that's due to copious amounts of visitors or not, can't say.
I thought it was cliff stability, but we've seen other ones that, like even Palubi Beach that we were on recently, that never used to be regulated.
That's changed. It's a limited number of people that can go onto it, and that's just a case of Travelling Australia changing. And there are people that believe that YouTubers are to blame for that. Now, I'm going to read a comment that I've received on one of my videos lately. This is on a video that I focused in on something negative.
You did, yeah.
And we've explained the reasons why I've done that. I didn't run an A/B test on that, but I can guarantee you if I said Monkey Maya was amazing, my video would have got 4,000 views instead of...
You said it in your video too, that it was a bit overrated or a bit of a tourist trap now.
It's a tourist trap. I don't know that I really got that message across properly, because what happens is you want to go to Monkey Maya, but to go to Monkey Maya, you have to go through a boom gate and pay Parks and Wildlife to go and feed dolphins or watch them talk about and feed dolphins. I had zero interest in doing that.
And it doesn't matter if you've got the WA Parks Pass.
That's right.
They charge you again anyway.
Yeah, it's a separate fee. And the reason why I called it a tourist trap and focused on that for my thumbnail and title is that there's no choice. No. I don't want to go and stand in a crowd and watch them talk about dolphins. I see dolphins. We've seen dolphins. Yesterday we camped on a beach and had them jumping out of the waves in front of us the other day. That's not for us. That's maybe something for international tourists. But we got a lot of negative comments on that video, perhaps on account of having the negative thumbnail as well. Perhaps it attracts that kind of audience. But this is the one that I want to talk about. I'll put it up, but I won't put the name on it. But it says this: honestly, it's you YouTubers that are the cause of the problem in these magnificent places. All you do is complain about all the tourists and the prices. Are you not tourists yourself? If you do not film these places and try and make money off YouTube, there would be a lot less people out there. Sorry, now deleted. And I'll also point out that this has had 15 thumbs up from other people that have scrolled through, which is a huge amount of interaction. No comments received that much. So it's definitely something that other people tend to agree with. Yeah. So on the subject of tourists, I was thinking about that. We are Australians in Australia. Yeah. This is my backyard. So I'm a domestic tourist, which is different to an international tourist. And as I already touched on, I see dolphins all the time. So I don't want to stand in the crowd, whereas an international tourist doesn't see a dolphin all the time. They want to come to Australia and they want to experience that. So
is that what that fee was for the dolphin experience?
Yes, as we understand it. Okay. Yeah, that's because it's an attraction. Yep. The attraction being the feeding of the dolphins, which we have no interest in seeing. The only reason that we went was because we had paid for it and didn't really have a choice. Yep. But so moving on from that, let's circle around to the overall subject of YouTubers are to blame for places getting busy, places getting expensive. Do you want to give us your thoughts on that?
Happily. I don't think it's YouTubers that are to blame. It's the world of social media. This wasn't around. Social media sort of wasn't around 20 years ago?
Absolutely not, no. But yeah, so, even 10 years ago, it really kind of started in Australia about seven or 8 years ago when a certain traveling family that's made it YouTube, a thing.
But like even Instagram and Facebook's only been around since the early 2000s. But now we're all on it all day, every day. people sharing their experiences in these locations. And I, for one, didn't know a lot of these locations existed until I saw them on Instagram or Facebook. So I don't know. I don't think it's YouTubers are to blame. I think it's social media has just opened up the world to people more, and these secret spots aren't secret anymore.
And there's no going back, unfortunately.
No, and
there is no changing it.
You're in every right to complain about a place if you didn't have a great experience there. You're just sharing an honest review on a certain spot. We've had spots that we didn't like and we shared it. It's like, we did not like this place. People love it and we did not like it.
It is education. I think a lot of people watch us, both Mark and I in particular, for education. I think a lot of people watch travelling families for education. They watch them to learn about it. So then to sit there and, as a person who's watching YouTube, to drop a comment like it's your fault that that place is busy, well, why are you watching our channel?
Yeah, you and yourself have created that loop that if you're clicking on it and watching that video,
you made the positive reinforcement loop that creates the problem as well.
Yeah.
So we're all to blame.
Yeah,
if we switch off social media, but even if we switch off social media, people still know Palubi Beach exists.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody seems to know Smoky Bay exists because it's quite quiet here. Maybe we shouldn't have told people where we are.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't. I made comment in one of my recent videos too that we stayed in this beautiful spot. It was busy. People know about it. There's no hiding it. But it's like, I didn't want to tell any more people because it was already busy and amazing. But we still shared it anyway.
Yeah, and I'm also reaching that level now where we do tell a lot of people. So if I say discover a resource, let's say it's a fishing resource and I'm in a location, I'm going to do my best to not disclose that location.
Yeah.
Because if I do, everybody who goes there knows that spot, goes there, and then the resource is no longer there.
Yeah.
So we do have like a level of responsibility as to what we disclose
100%,
and how we disclose it. But when it comes to saying where we are camping, it's on Wikicamps.
Yeah,
you drive through the area. There's very rarely I'm at a camp that's not on Wikicamps. You look and you search for your camps. Anyone can find it when they're in the area.
I think the only times I've kept things quiet, and we probably don't even make a video in most of these spots, is when a local takes us to a locals spot. And that's not on Wikicamps. It's something the locals know about, and they don't want to going out to the wider thing. So we do keep it.
Yeah, I have seen you do a video where you said that we won't disclose this location.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a massive channel. I'm going to say the name of this one. So take Brody Moss and Youngbloods, for example. And funny enough, you actually grew up with Brody.
Yeah, I did grow up with Brody, yeah.
For the longest time, people didn't even know where he was.
No, he kept that quiet for a long time. He did very well.
Yeah.
Like,
that's very off topic. So YouTubers are to blame. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are YouTubers to blame? Is what we're doing, creating content, sharing our stories, the reason why places are getting busy and expensive?
Yeah, my experience is not the YouTubers to blame. It's the people that don't respect the place and leave it in a mess.
That would be the reason why places are closing down.
100%.
I mean, that wasn't part of our agenda, but I want to talk about this as well.
Okay.
Being respectful of where you visit is incredibly important. And in our experience, full-time travelers are very respectful of the places that they visit and looking after it. We have toilets.
In general, yeah.
We don't leave poo tickets. We have toilets in our caravans. We have everything that we need to leave no trace other than footprints. Putting out fires. For the love of God, put your fires out.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've seen fires left smouldering in windy conditions with no one around in tinderbox places.
Or no, even that, but like kids running around the next day and
and burning their feet and things like that. So yeah, I mean, be respectful of where you're visiting, and that's a message that we try and portray and we try and share with people to hopefully educate so that other people do the same thing, right?
Yeah. And we probably don't need to delve into that any further.
No, it was off topic and nothing to do with YouTube. So have we covered YouTubers are to blame? Do you remember what was next? I might have to bring it up.
All right. What's next on our list?
I believe it was filming etiquette.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So again, I've seen a bit of feedback, particularly in those recent negative videos about people complaining about things like drones and YouTubers acting like they own the joint and saying, we're working, therefore we need to be here and you need to get out of our shot.
I've heard experiences. I've never seen that firsthand.
I myself have never seen that firsthand, and we try our very best to be respectful about how we use our equipment. I'm going to go into drone flying, for example.
I think that's probably the big ticker one.
Absolutely, because it's very noisy.
It's a noisy camera. And people are concerned about privacy. I don't know if you've ever flown a drone, but they're not the greatest cameras to ever be trying to...
They'd usually come with a wide lens, although my new drone can zoom right in.
But like a noisy camera is not really a great camera for trying to zoom in on something.
Stealthily.
Stealthily,
right.
yeah. So someone, that comments are a little bit weird,
So,
unless it's
look,
hovering over their backyard or something.
I've seen content where a creator went out to a private resort and then low flew their drone over that resort and then get kicked off the island for doing that, and then used a thumbnail that said, "We got kicked off the island."
Oh, really?
For that.
Yeah.
And frankly, that behavior is just unacceptable.
Yeah, I think so too.
And absolutely disgusting. And that's the reason why people get offended by that.
Yeah.
So for us, how do we do it? So drone flying. I try to go to locations when they're very quiet in order to get my drone footage.
Yep.
So take Esperance Beaches, for example. It's an absolutely stunning location. So I wanted to fly my drone over that area.
Yep.
So I got up at 5:30 in the morning and I went for a drive and I flew over Twilight Beach when there was maybe 1 or 2 people around.
Yep. And probably at a height that it didn't bother them as well.
Exactly, yeah, quite a distance. And that's how I get my footage of Twilight Beach. And then when we're on Twilight Beach ourselves, it's crowded, it's busy, there's no drones going up at that time.
Yes.
So we try to visit places early, or when people aren't there, in order to get that footage. And it's the same with holding up the camera and filming and not having people in the background as well. We do try to visit
100%.
at times when they are less busy in order to get that. We go that extra mile to get up early. And do it.
And I think you'll find that I never have videos where we're in very public spaces for that reason. We really struggle, and it's a little bit of self-consciousness, I suppose, filming in front of a lot of people. I don't tend to want to do it in the first place, but we try very hard to make sure other people aren't in the shot, or if there are going to be other kids in the shot, we talk to the parents first and say, like, we're YouTubing. If your kids ended up in the shot, what do you want? Do you want us to just cut it, blur them, or are you happy for them to be in it? That conversation goes a long way as well.
And that conversation should be had, I think.
100%. And I do that when I want to fly the drone. If we're in a spot where I can't just jump in the car and drive away a little bit to get my shot, I'll go talk to the people around us and say, hey, I'd love to send the drone up here. Do you have a problem? And 95% of the time, it's, no, I don't have a problem. Can you share the footage with me? Where I've only had a couple of occasions where people are, I really wish you wouldn't. No worries.
Okay.
I don't need that footage anyway. It's nice to have. So I think drones are a big one. We struggle because our dogs are very reactive to drones.
And being with Mark for the last couple of weeks, I have to say, Mark, can Kiri go in the car so I can grab a shot now? And so we have to work around each other. And
we do, yeah. So like we struggled the first time we were over in this area. We went down to Murphy's Haystacks, and it's dog friendly. You can walk your dogs around Murphy's Haystacks. Someone just breezed in, sent their drone up from the car park, flew their drone around Murphy's Haystacks, sent my dogs off going absolutely nuts. They never even walked out to come check out Murphy Haystacks. They sent the drone back, got in the car and went off again. And I'm like, they didn't even consider us out there having this drone buzzing past our heads. And
what time was that, out of curiosity?
It would have been like mid-morning, like we had packed up, we had the caravan on the
peak
back,
time.
So like 11 a.m.
So that's an example of disrespectful use of your drone.
I think so, yeah.
And where people and why people get offended by that.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Look, if you're watching this as a creator, take some of this advice on board. You're going to the effort to make content and create. You should go to the effort to go when people aren't there so that you're not offending people with what you're doing.
That footage is better anyway.
And golden hour, that is another reason why I do what I do, because at golden hour the lighting is just
much better.
It is so much better.
Yeah, we're the same. But yeah, I like that, and I'm the same. I will tend to jump in the car a lot by myself to go fly the drone so that I get away from everyone. Because a lot of the time, once it's up in the air, you can't hear it as much.
That's right.
It's taking off and landing in amongst people is not real great.
All right, a bit of a quick subject, hey? Is there much more to talk about on that?
No, I don't think so, because each person's going to do it differently as well. Because some people don't film themselves. Some people turn the camera around and only film.
Yeah, I see that a lot. So I watch travel guides, for example, and travel guides, I don't know how they get away with it. They open every scene with like 4 shots of just random people in an area and not the stars of the show.
I didn't think you were allowed to do that.
I don't know. I don't know if they go and get them to sign disclosure statements or what.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so one of the last things on our agenda that we were going to talk about is copying other people's content.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
You could look at it in 2 different ways, really. You could be really offended at the fact that someone has copied your idea. You've gone to the effort of creating your idea. Or you could flip that and, I don't know, feel...
I mean, you and I have literally talked about this subject before, haven't we?
Have,
and what did I say to you? I said, I actually feel quite proud to see that somebody's done something the same as me. It means that I'm obviously doing well in what that I'm doing, and I wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, so like copying YouTube, I think
ideas.
Ideas.
Using ideas and developing on ideas. That's
making
okay.
it your own, yeah, because I do that 100%. So one of my most successful videos is my 12 accessories that we wish we had from the beginning. It was after 3.5 years of travel. We said, what are these things that we picked up along the way that we wish we had from the very beginning? And accessories being used on the road has been done to death. Nearly every content
I've done
creator.
it too.
Yeah,
mine is a different theme. I've watched yours too.
Yeah. So like where I just went through the 12 accessories we wish we had. So it didn't touch on like Starlink or things we had from the very beginning, but it was stuff that we accumulated along the way that changed the game for us a little bit. Where you pulled everything out.
So I mean, that was a really good point though. Is we've done the same idea, but we've put our own spin on it and used our own information and our own ideas. And now my accessories videos was everything that you need when you buy a caravan.
Yeah.
You don't have everything that you need. So I went through and showed all the things that you're going to need when you buy a caravan. Different idea, same theme. Sorry, different content, same theme, same idea.
And then you've also done one recently, didn't you, where you did like 11 things you wish you knew or something along those lines?
Yeah, so I've used somebody else's idea to do a video, and I'll give these guys a shout out and explain what it was. It was Lil and Jake did a video that they were only new in their travels, and they said 10 things that we wished that we knew before traveling Australia. And the reason why I chose that as a subject, because it did really well for them.
Yeah, it did.
But I watched their video, and they were only new in their travels. The information that they shared was very different to what I would have shared if I had made that video. And I said, well, maybe I can do that video and I can share my thoughts on that.
Your own perspective on it.
And it was completely different. I think that's fine. That is just art, and that's how art evolves. People take ideas and they grow on that. What I don't think is okay is plagiarizing content.
Plagiarizing,
like literally word for word, or very close to using word for word other people's content.
Have you been plagiarized? Because I don't think I've even been copied, but have you been like actually proper plagiarized? Has something grinded your gears in that sense?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
There's one instance, one creator I've seen that's, I think, virtually word for word.
Really?
Plagiarized thumbnails, titles, and
of
content.
Yours? Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm not going to name names.
Okay.
Sorry if you know. If you know.
Yeah, see, I don't think that's right. But they've obviously seen that you've had some success and wanted to ride that wave behind you.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I guess on that subject, what we're talking about right now, YouTube is talking about YouTube, is also something that's kind of a new little thing that's developing and something that's come out recently. There's a channel out there called 4x4 off track 4x4. I'll put a little thing up.
If we got that wrong, we apologize, guys.
Who have been for a month or so now doing a video a week talking about all things happening in our space, in the Caravan Australia niche.
Yeah, you've featured a couple of times recently, haven't you?
I have, yes. They've featured some of our controversial things, because they kind of talk about things that are controversially going on at the moment. And I've been, as we explained really early on in this video, I've been focusing on more controversial things in order to try and get some more views going for our channel. But yeah, shout out to those guys. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you could go over to their channel, and they've probably got about 5 hours of this similar sort of content to watch and listen to. But we are telling our point of view, and we're doing things differently. It is not a plagiarism of their content. It is our own thoughts on it, and
we got the idea from them, and we've grown on that idea.
Exactly.
Our own. Yeah.
And it's something that we have been talking to each other about backwards and forwards since our friendship developed. As one of the reasons.
We've had this idea for months, but we've been waiting until we actually cross paths again that we could actually sit down and do this. And even now, we've been hanging out for 3 to almost 4 weeks.
And we had to grow our data in order to do that first bit about thumbnails. But yeah, so look, copying other people's content, it's using other people's ideas is okay. Plagiarism is not okay. There's one channel out there that I've seen copy several creators. I don't think it's okay, personally.
No.
Not plagiarism.
No. Yeah,
but
I agree.
But using ideas and using similar ideas, that is okay.
Yep.
And developing on those, as long as you're giving your
twist on
things, exactly. As long as you're improving it. With any luck, one content starts and it's average, and then somebody develops it, and then somebody develops, and somebody develops. At the end of the day, the consumers are getting better content. And that is how things develop, and I think that's fine.
I'm going to flip that on you. How's this video coming out?
How?
Yeah.
How do you mean how?
Well, I'm going to release it on my channel.
Oh.
You're going to release it on your channel.
Well, I guess
they're going to be pretty well identical, aren't they?
they're literally. Well, I mean, there is no way to collaborate on YouTube.
No. So like with Instagram, and I think Facebook can do it too. You can collaborate, and the post gets shared to both channels.
The best we can do is mention each other.
Yeah, and put the links at the end of the videos. When you just hang around at the end of the videos, you see the chance to subscribe, and usually another video that you can watch. We have the option to throw in another channel in there as well.
That is a good way to collaborate, which is what we have done when we've collaborated.
Yeah, it's in my
before.
one that goes up this
I actually didn't put yours.
Oh,
because it's today. I can fix it. So what you're going to see, there's not a lot of point to go on watching this video on Mark's channel because it's literally going to be the same video. The only difference is the intro and who introed. So you might, I mean, look, I'd suggest you go and watch that because we did tell different stories in our intros.
We did, yeah. And we're doing this out of a little bit of experimental
that's right.
We want to know what happens,
because
they're going to be very much the same video but on two different channels. We share an audience for a lump sum of it. I think people that watch me tend to watch you as well, so yeah, we're interested to sort of see what YouTube does with it, if it recognizes that it's the same video or if it just does its normal thing and then to see.
And I think on that subject we should run different thumbnails because then we can have maybe 4 different thumbnails to compare data on as to which one compares the best. But yep,
let's give it a whirl. So yeah, that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Oh no, that won't work because they'll be commenting in on it. I was going to say which one you saw first, but there you go.
I think the view count will tell the story, I guess.
Yeah.
But the last thing we were going to say is, which YouTube channels are we watching?
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Give a bit of a shout out at the end of it. So I already share my regulars at the bottom of my YouTube. If you jump over onto our YouTube page, there's a tab down the bottom that links all our favorite channels that we try and stay on top of.
Probably something I need to do because I don't do that.
I'm not that great at staying up to date, even with yourself. Sorry, Brett, but I don't watch every video.
No offense taken, Brett. I don't watch all of yours either,
It's really hard when you're out here traveling and you're a content creator yourself to keep up with
to find the time because guys, this takes us 30-odd hours a week to meet this weekly quota.
So it is hard to keep up to date with a lot of people, but I tend to stay up to date with yourselves now or never. Who they just did their caravan. I'm not going to say renovate. It was a repair. Really interesting video series there actually, so head over and watch that. Elnick is another one that I tend to watch. They're just very engaging and very fun to watch. We tend to watch people that we've met as well because once Liam has met them, we can now sit down as a family and watch him and he gets excited to be a part of it. So Chasing Dreams, Living Like Kings, they are the ones that we tend to stay on top of as well. Where I really enjoy Jack and Megan, but I tend to watch them by myself. So I don't know, they're probably our big channels that we watch now that are still active. We've got a few that aren't active anymore that I really loved, but they're probably the key ones. What about yourself?
For me, you mentioned a couple that I like. I respect people that put the effort into their content creation, and one of the reasons that I like watching them is for ideas that I can implement into my own footage as well. I like Jack and Megan. We've met Jack and Megan. They're lovely, humble, beautiful people. Busy, but that's life. The
pleasure of meeting them. Yeah, I keep just missing them.
That's life. Some new ones that have come out recently, and now I'm struggling to remember the name. The truck people that got bogged. The Cartwrights. Cartwrights, who are almost one of the biggest channels now. Their content it's just a step above.
Yep.
And it's really good. Elnick Adventures, I also think they're a really good family. We met them as well, really lovely, humble people. But I think their content has also taken a step up, and they just do things that I can't do.
I don't know how they do what they do.
And that's one of the reasons why I like watching them. Unfortunately, Mel does not like the idea of not showering for 5 days at a time, so I can't do adventures like that, nor is my setup really capable of doing that kind of thing. So I like watching them for that reason, as well as the fact that I do think their content is also a step above as well. Next stop, Falzone family do some good content. And there are some others that I used to like who I've stopped watching because I kind of made the decision on clickbait thumbnails and thumbnail reasons to stop watching some. So I'm not even going to mention them. But they work.
There's your stubbornness coming out.
Yeah, well, you've got to I know, now I've started doing it as well. But you've got to put your money where your mouth is sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
So I believe
I've not watched that last one. You said next stop.
Next Stop Falzone family, really organic, really,
Okay,
and
I'll
they
have to
make
check them out.
and they make good thumbnails and good content. They've been quiet lately. I'm not sure what's going on. I think they've got personal things going on. Hopefully they come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it. I think we're going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Leave us some
I had fun.
feedback.
Yeah, definitely leave us
some feedback. Tell us what you think. There's a lot of hot subjects on here, so it's going to be really interesting to hear what you say. Perhaps if we get enough feedback, maybe we can do a follow-up to that.
Potentially, yeah.
Depending on how long Mark and I are together for.
I wonder if we could do something remote.
I mean, we absolutely could, couldn't we?
Yeah, we've got the technology. We have the technology.
We do have the technology. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Really
Hope you've enjoyed it. And catch you next week. Bye.